that 1 year of football, like we mentioned in high school, and you could be the greatest player in the world, but if you only play 1 year of high school football, it is extremely hard to get looks, especially from a D1, even a D2. I mean, just schools in general. And you ended up getting the Glenville State offer. It was kind of virtually a walk-on offer. It wasn't a ton of
Yeah.
money involved, but and you earned it because you stayed in contact. You kind of had to help form those relationships. But just being like hear that you have a chance to play more, another 4 years at the least. Like, how did that make you feel?
Another 4. I mean, it definitely felt good because I was getting out of this situation I was in of having no place to go, basically, and also being able to still, I was glad to being able to have some type of chance to, chase this dream and goal.
Definitely. And when you arrive, I mean, obviously, if you have a $250 scholarship, basically a walk, and you're not going to get those. You're not going to be like, hey, you're the starter. It's how it goes.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that right away. You
I
were
knew that.
6
But
on the
also,
depth chart. So how were you
Yeah.
able to just say, you know what, I got to stay focused?
So being 16 on a depth chart, like I said, I always knew that I had to, work for everything that I wanted to have. And, it was kind of like I said, just knowing what I don't have. Like, I know back at home, I don't have nothing, like, so at that time. And just like, I don't know, I would say just, it was a constant motivation. Like, I was always reminding myself that, like, you got to do this, basically. I was always pushed to that edge and that extent. And just, I wouldn't even say that I had natural abilities. I think everything that, people think of me now is things that I worked for and like on my own. God-given abilities and things like that. And I also kept God in my life. I wouldn't say that I did it all on my own. But yeah, those, I mean, and also I knew that I had to stand out some way. Like, at first it was standing out on the team, and then every goal just became bigger. Standing out on the team, standing out to the coaches, then standing out in the conference, then standing out in all of D2, then even making, some noise to, on the D1 level. So, I mean, that's when I won an All-American. So,
I mean, you mentioned it. You had the goals. You knew you had to go step by step. You couldn't just go from A to Z. You had to go A, B, C all the way through. And one of the biggest things that happened for you was week 4. You come in and you kind of virtually become the starter after the player ahead of you was making some bad plays. And you found out like a series before. You didn't really know what was going on. But when that happened and you realized you were going in, like, were you nervous? Were you worried? Like, what was going through your mind at that moment?
I just kept saying to myself, I remember I kept saying to myself, like, it's time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it was just, I wouldn't say it was nervous. I wouldn't say I was over, like, confident. I was just anxious, really, to just be out there because I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that I was studying the plays, but, that type things just come with the experience, and they was basically just throwing me in the fire. So, I was ready. Looking back, like, I felt like I was ready to be out there. Like, I just felt antsy. I don't know, I can't describe it. Basically was excited because I'm like, all right, now it's time.
I mean, from that moment, you really never looked back. You earned the starting role and you're consistent with it. But the one game I want to talk about in particular from that year is the second to last game. That's when you got your first interception there. And we all know every defensive back, every defensive player, when you get an interception, it feels great. That's what you want. But what was that when you finally realized, like, hey, I got to pick, like, I'm here. Like, what was that like for you?
Well, when the ball first touched my hands, like, I was like, oh shoot, where do I run? Like, because it's like, I don't know, like you said, it was just like slow motion. I don't know. It felt like it was moving in slow motion. It was like, if you look back at the tape when me catching a pick, it was like, where is he going? Like, I was trying to run around the field and things like that. But I don't know, it felt good afterwards because it was kind of like the play we needed as well. And you said something we work on in practice. Well, we worked on in practice. I know because it was like a tip drill. You know, we work tip drills all the time. So,
Yeah.
Prime example of practice make perfect. And I think, you know, after then it just created a craving in me to it just created a craving in me for the ball. Like I always wanted to feel that same adrenaline,